Imagine this. It's 3:17 a.m. The house is completely still. You're finally sinking into that soft, quiet sleep, and then, suddenly, your leg locks up. A sharp, stabbing pain shoots through your calf like lightning. You jolt awake, grabbing your leg, gasping, waiting for it to pass. And when it does, you lie there, wide awake, wondering when it'll strike again. Now, if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Over 60% of adults over the age of 60 experience nighttime leg cramps. That's more than half of us. And here's the thing. These cramps don't just hurt, they chip away at something deeper. They take away your sleep. They make you afraid to move, afraid to stretch, afraid to go for that walk you used to love. Some folks stop gardening, others avoid stairs. Over time, it's not just your legs that weaken, it's your confidence too. I've been working with older adults for over 35 years, and I can't count how many times I've heard a patient say, "I used to sleep fine until the cramps started." Or, "I'm afraid to get up in the middle of the night now. What if I fall?" One of the things I've learned is that leg cramps are rarely just bad luck. Your body is trying to say something, and if we learn to listen, we can respond. Sometimes the cause is dehydration. Sometimes it's an imbalance of minerals like magnesium or potassium. Sometimes it's just how the day was structured. Not enough water, skipping meals, too little protein, or simply not moving enough. Let me tell you about Mary. She came to me last spring. She was 74, lived alone in a small home with a garden she adored. Tomatoes, herbs, radishes, she grew them all. Her hands were rough from the soil. Her face lit up when she talked about her lavender bushes, but then she paused, and her voice dropped. "Doctor," she said, "I stopped going out to the garden. I'm afraid I'll cramp and collapse. It's happened 3 times this month." At first, we thought it might be circulation. We checked her blood pressure, her nerve function, even did a full panel. Nothing alarming showed up. But Mary's problem wasn't something a test could easily catch. She wasn't getting enough of the right compounds, not just 1 or 2 nutrients, but a pattern of small deficits, a lack of hydration in the evening, low magnesium, no protein until noon, and skipping breakfast altogether on most days. Her muscles were asking for support, but they weren't getting it. So I asked her, "Would you be willing to try something for 30 days? No pills, just food. 3 simple foods at the right time of day." She smiled. "I'll do anything if it means I can go back to pulling weeds without falling over." We started the very next day, and you know what? By week 3, she was sleeping through the night. By week 6, she brought me a small bunch of radishes. Bright red, freshly pulled, still with soil on them. She said, "No cramps, not one," and I planted 3 new rows. That moment stuck with me. It reminded me that healing doesn't always come from something expensive, complicated, or high-tech. Sometimes it begins with what you put on your plate, and sometimes it begins with simply remembering to eat, and eat the right things. Now I want to share with you the 3 foods we use to help Mary regain her strength. Starting with the one that almost everyone has in their fridge, yet almost everyone eats the wrong way. Let's talk about what's really going on inside your body when leg cramps become frequent, and why it happens more often as we age. First, your muscles are incredibly sophisticated. They rely on precise signals from your nervous system, proper blood flow, hydration, and just the right balance of nutrients like potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium to contract and relax smoothly. When even one of those elements is out of balance, just a little bit, cramps can happen. But here's the thing. After age 60, that balance becomes harder to maintain. Let's start with hydration. As we get older, the body's ability to regulate fluids becomes less efficient. The sense of thirst declines. That means many older adults are walking around mildly dehydrated without even realizing it. Now combine that with something else. A natural loss of muscle mass, also known as sarcopenia. Starting around age 30, we begin to lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass per decade. That may not sound like much, but by age 70 or 80, it adds up. And that muscle loss makes the muscles we have more vulnerable to fatigue, stiffness, and cramping. Here's a study that might surprise you. In 2019, researchers from the Journal of Clinical Neurology found that over 80% of seniors who experienced nighttime leg cramps showed signs of both low magnesium and impaired nerve conductivity. meaning their nerves weren't sending signals as clearly or consistently as before. When your nerves misfire, your muscles don't contract and relax properly. That's a recipe for cramping. There's another issue too: circulation. With age, our arteries can become less flexible. That means blood flow slows and muscles don't get oxygen and nutrients as efficiently. If you've ever noticed your legs feel heavier or slower at the end of the day, poor circulation may be part of it. And finally, medication. Many seniors take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart rhythm. While these drugs are important, some of them, like diuretics, can flush out vital minerals like potassium and magnesium. So you might be eating reasonably well, but your body isn't holding on to the nutrients it needs to keep your muscles functioning smoothly. When you add it all together, less hydration, less muscle, slower circulation, more medications, it's no wonder leg cramps become a frequent visitor in the night. But here's the good news. Many of these risk factors can be reduced without medication, simply by being more intentional about what you eat, when you eat it, and how your body absorbs it. That's what we're going to focus on next. Because the first food on our list isn't just high in protein, it also contains a key amino acid that older muscles desperately need, but many people have no idea it's even in there. Ready? Food number 1, eggs, the unsung hero of muscle preservation. Now let's dive into the first food on our list, eggs. You might think eggs are just a common breakfast staple, but for older adults, they are nothing short of a nutritional powerhouse. As we age, our muscles lose their ability to efficiently use proteins, making the quality of protein we consume far more important. Eggs offer a nearly perfect balance of high-quality protein and essential nutrients that support muscle repair and regeneration. One of the key benefits of eggs lies in their complete protein profile. Each large egg provides around 6 grams of protein, and importantly, it contains all 9 essential amino acids. Among these, leucine plays a pivotal role in muscle protein synthesis. As our bodies age, they become less responsive to growth signals. Hence, the leucine in eggs becomes crucial to help stimulate and rebuild muscle tissue. Clinical studies have shown that including whole eggs after physical activity can result in up to a 40% greater muscle-building response compared to just consuming egg whites alone. But it isn't only about protein. Egg yolks are rich in vitamin D, which is essential for calcium absorption and bone health. They also provide choline, a nutrient vital for nerve function, and other micronutrients like vitamin B12, which supports not only muscle function, but also helps maintain proper nerve conduction. Together, these components contribute to better muscle maintenance and a reduced risk of cramping. However, it's not just about eating eggs, it's about how you eat them. Many people make a critical mistake by discarding the yolk, fearing cholesterol. Recent research, though, has debunked this myth. Moderate egg consumption, around 6 to 7 eggs per week, has been shown to be safe and beneficial for most older adults. In fact, studies have revealed that consuming whole eggs instead of just egg whites leads to significantly improved muscle strength and better recovery, thanks to the synergistic effect of its combined nutrients. When buying eggs, look for ones with clean, uncracked shells and a stamped date. If possible, choose pasture-raised or free-range eggs. They often have higher vitamin D levels and richer yolks. Store them in the coldest part of your fridge, not the door, and try to use them within 3 to 4 weeks of purchase. And one extra tip: don't throw away the eggshells. Dry them, crush them, and sprinkle around your garden. They're rich in calcium and great for your plants, and it's one small way to care for the earth while caring for your health. For optimal benefits, it is essential to incorporate eggs into your daily routine properly. I recommend having a whole egg as part of your breakfast, perhaps scrambled or poached, and pairing it with other nutrient-rich foods like whole grain toast, fresh vegetables, or a fruit smoothie. Avoid overcooking your eggs, as excessive heat can diminish some of those valuable nutrients. Additionally, consider varying your cooking methods to retain maximum nutritional value. Remember, the goal here is not to prescribe a complex diet, but to remind you that sometimes the simplest changes, like eating eggs correctly, can make a remarkable difference. Think about it. A food that's affordable, widely available and already in many of our refrigerators, can be a game changer for maintaining strength and independence. Now, before we move on, consider this. If you've been skipping the yolk or overcooking your eggs, you might be unknowingly depriving your muscles of the very fuel they need to recover and rebuild. Imagine the difference it could make in your daily life. Fewer cramps, improved balance, and the renewed ability to enjoy the activities you love. Stay with me, because in the next segment, we'll explore another crucial food and reveal simple, actionable steps you can implement right away to protect your muscle health. Trust me, the journey to stronger legs begins one plate at a time. Let's take a moment to breathe and reflect on what we've learned so far. You now know that nighttime leg cramps are more than just a nuisance. They're a signal, your body's way of telling you that something is missing. Whether it's hydration, essential minerals like magnesium or potassium, or simply the right kind of protein at the right time. Cramps are never random. We talked about Mary, the gardener who went from being afraid to step outside to planting 3 new rows of radishes simply because she changed how she started her day. We explored how aging affects our bodies, slower nerve signals, reduced muscle mass, poor circulation, and the side effects of common medications. All of these factors can create the perfect storm for nightly cramps. And then we highlighted one simple, affordable food, eggs, that can start reversing the damage. Not through some magic trick, but through a deep, science-backed understanding of what the aging body actually needs to function and thrive. This isn't about trends. It's not about fancy diets, expensive supplements, or quick fixes. It's about getting back to the basics, listening to your body, and giving it what it's quietly been asking for, one meal at a time. If you've been dealing with cramps, weakness, or just that sense that your legs aren't as dependable as they once were, you're not broken. You're not falling apart. You're simply in transition. And transitions can be navigated with knowledge, care, and the right choices. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just one meal, one good decision, one morning where you choose to nourish instead of skip. Because every small step you take toward supporting your muscles and your strength is a step toward independence, joy, and freedom of movement. And trust me, there's nothing more powerful than waking up and knowing your legs are ready for the day. Now, in our next segment, I'll share the second food that helps Mary reclaim her energy, and it's even more surprising than the first. Food 2, banana, a natural muscle ally. Let me take you back to Mary for a moment. After we introduced eggs into her breakfast, the next thing we looked at was what she was having for her afternoon snack. Turns out it was usually a cookie. Sometimes a soda. Nothing wrong with a little treat now and then, but her muscles were crying out for something more substantial. So, we swapped the cookie for a banana. Simple, right? But the science behind that simple fruit is nothing short of powerful, especially for aging muscles and nerve health. Bananas are rich in potassium, a key mineral that helps regulate fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions. When buying bananas, choose ones that are yellow with light speckles for peak sweetness and potassium. Too green? Let them ripen at room temperature. Too ripe? Peel, slice, and freeze them for smoothies later on. Don't refrigerate bananas before they ripen. It can stop the ripening process. And those peels? They don't need to go in the trash. Cut them up and bury them in your potted plants or garden beds. They break down quickly and feed the soil, nature's way of saying thank you. Low potassium levels are one of the most common, yet most overlooked, causes of muscle cramps. Think of potassium like the electrical wiring for your muscles. If the wiring is faulty, signals get scrambled, and that's when muscles tighten unexpectedly and painfully. Now here's the thing. As we age, our kidneys may not regulate potassium as efficiently, and some blood pressure medications can cause potassium loss. That's why even people who eat fine can still have low potassium levels. But bananas don't stop there. They also contain magnesium, which helps relax muscles and improve sleep quality. And they offer vitamin B6, which plays a key role in nerve health and red blood cell production, both essential for delivering oxygen to muscles. Mary started having one banana each day, usually mid-afternoon, just one, and something amazing happened. She stopped waking up in the middle of the night with cramps. She even told me she started sleeping deeper, longer, and waking up with fewer aches. Was it magic? No, it was balance. Her muscles were finally getting the minerals and signals they had been missing for years. Of course, bananas have natural sugars, so I always recommend pairing them with a handful of nuts or some plain Greek yogurt to balance blood sugar. It's about harmony between nutrients and within your body. So if you're looking for something simple, gentle on digestion, affordable, and delicious, bananas are more than just fruit. They're a daily dose of muscle medicine wrapped in a yellow peel. And if you think that's impressive, just wait until you see what the third food can do. Food 3. Unlocking the full power of nuts and seeds. Let's stay with nuts and seeds for a moment longer. Because if there's one category of food I wish every older adult explored more deeply, it's this one. These tiny foods are some of nature's most nutrient-dense gifts. Inside every handful is a wealth of support. Protein for muscle repair, magnesium and potassium for muscle relaxation, omega-3s for circulation and inflammation, fiber for gut health, iron and B vitamins for better oxygen delivery and nerve function. But not all nuts are the same, and not all seeds play the same role. Almonds, for example, are especially rich in magnesium and vitamin E, great for reducing leg fatigue and improving circulation. Walnuts are one of the best plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids, perfect for lowering inflammation and supporting heart and brain health. Pumpkin seeds offer a magnesium super boost and even contain a bit of tryptophan, which can help with sleep. Chia seeds absorb water and expand, supporting hydration and digestion, helping you stay regular and feel lighter. Cashews support bone density with zinc and copper. Together, they help more than just your legs. They nourish your whole body, from muscles, joints, to memory and mood. So how should you eat them? The good news is, it's easy. A handful a day is all you need, about 1 ounce or 2 tablespoons. Too much? It's easy to go overboard, especially with trail mix or sweetened nut blends. Try buying them unsalted and raw or dry roasted for maximum health benefits. I always tell my patients this: don't buy in bulk unless you know you'll finish them in 4 to 6 weeks. Nuts and seeds are full of healthy fats, but those fats can go rancid when stored too long, especially in humid or warm conditions. Store them in an airtight container. Better yet, refrigerate or freeze portions to extend freshness. Want flavor variety? Toast them lightly in a pan to bring out natural oils. Pair walnuts with dates or dark chocolate for a treat. Sprinkle pumpkin seeds over soups. Blend cashews into smoothies for creaminess without dairy. Toss almonds into stir-fry or overnight oats. Now let's talk sourcing. Some of the best tasting almonds and pistachios come from California. Walnuts from Chile or the US are known for their mild flavor. Pumpkin seeds from Austria are famous for their rich green color and deep taste. Cashews, grown in Vietnam or India, often have a softer bite and sweeter note. Wherever you buy, look for freshness, aroma, and whole pieces without cracks or discoloration. Avoid any that smell bitter or feel rubbery. That's a sign of oxidation or spoilage. And remember, you don't need to eat all varieties at once. Just rotate a few kinds each week. Your body loves diversity, and your taste buds will too. This is more than food. This is self-care in its simplest form. Because when you eat with attention, even the tiniest seed becomes a quiet promise to yourself. I am worth nourishing. And that kind of love, you'll feel it in your legs, in your balance, in the way you rise from a chair without a wince, or sleep through the night without a cramp. So don't underestimate the power of a handful of seeds. They may be small, but they carry the strength to help you stand tall. So here we are. We've talked about eggs, bananas, and seeds. But this video wasn't really about food. It was about strength. Not the kind you get from lifting weights or running marathons, but the kind that helps you rise from a chair without fear. The kind that lets you walk to the milks with confidence. The kind that whispers, you're still strong, and you always have been. You see, aging doesn't steal your worth. It doesn't erase your wisdom. It simply asks you to treat yourself with a little more care. 1 egg, 1 banana, a handful of seeds. These aren't just ingredients. They're small promises, tiny acts of love that say, I'm still investing in me. And when you do that, your body remembers, your legs respond, your nights grow quieter, your mornings become less stiff and more free. If this video brought you even one useful idea or reminded you of someone you care about, a friend, a parent, a neighbor, then let it travel. Let it reach someone who needs it. Not because I asked, but because healing multiplies when it's shared. And if you'd like to keep walking this path with me, learning, growing, reclaiming your strength, you know where to find me. Right here at Wise Living, where every video is made with heart and every word is meant to matter. Until next time, stay kind to your body, stay curious about your health, and never ever stop believing in your ability to live well.